Sarada is going completely blind. Yeah, that's the worst case scenario, and that's at least what her mother Sakura said. A single panel from chapter 34 has officially been released, showing a scene at the hospital where Sarada's condition had previously become extremely serious. However, thanks to Himawari, the bleeding caused by the overuse of Ohirume has been healed and the bleeding has been stopped. And once again, all of that happened thanks to Himawari. Oh yeah, what you just heard was the conclusion Sakura explained to Sarada. But another interesting point is that this was proven through Sarada's glasses after the incident. In short, Sakura realized that something was wrong with Sarada Uchiha's glasses because they no longer matched her vision properly. The glasses that were supposed to help her see more clearly were instead making things look even blurrier when she wore them. Because of that, Sakura concluded that Sarada's eyesight had gotten worse than before. After that, Sakura explained that the main cause wasn't just an ordinary eye problem, but the side effect of using the Mangekyo Sharingan. And yeah, we probably all expected this to happen to Sarada. No matter what, we understand how every Uchiha eventually ends up like this if they overuse their eye powers. So the more Sarada uses that power, the more damaged her eyesight becomes. And in the end, if Sarada keeps using it too much, she could eventually suffer complete blindness, just like the risk every Mangekyo Sharingan user has always carried. But in the next few minutes, I have a pretty interesting discussion. I mean, after seeing this panel, I'm sure most of you will guess and assume that the solution to all of Sarada's problems is Hashirama's cells, Sasuke's eye, or even Shin Uchiha's Sharingan eye, right? Well, to be honest, I don't dismiss that theory at all. And once again, I'm not entirely arguing against that theory. But what I think we need to consider is Aikimoto's decision. I mean, how could Aikimoto just let the fandom assume and guess that the solution to all of Sarada's problems is to use the old method, a method that's always been used by her predecessors? Yeah, you know what I mean, right? And once again, regardless of what Aikimoto's decision ultimately is, I actually suspect that the author will prepare something we'd never have thought of before. Because judging from various aspects and other factors, the old method, like the simple example of using Hashirama's cells, is a logical approach. But right now, we're on a different level, a next generation level. And I know that no matter what, some of the methods we've often guessed are indeed very relevant. But the point is, the story will become more monotonous because it's so easy to predict. And what makes this story even more intriguing is precisely the perfectly crafted plot twists. I can't possibly explain all the plot twists that we couldn't even guess correctly. But at least since Two Blue Vortex was released, we've been treated to countless fascinating plot twists. They didn't stick to the old ways, but improved upon them exceptionally well, creating a superior version. And if you want to know an example, you can look at this as a case in point. When Koji, whom we assumed would be the guide and savior due to his ability to access information through the Shinjutsu Jippo, actually revealed a very ironic and shocking truth in the latest chapter. The variability that's so important and necessary for saving the world by seeing the future also comes with an incredibly huge consequence. In other words, knowing the future is the same as destroying that future itself. And the point and correlation of all this with Sarada Uchiha is it's highly likely that the solution to Sarada's blindness won't be that simple. It will be full of plot twists, and the most likely scenario is that it won't involve the old way. Because if Mikio Ikemoto truly intends to elevate Boruto Two Blue Vortex to a new generation, it would feel odd if the resolution to Sarada's conflict merely repeats old formulas like an eye transplant, Hashirama's cells, or the standard Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. All those theories do make sense lore-wise, but they're just too predictable for the fandom. And so far, Two Blue Vortex has repeatedly built its story with a different pattern. Not by discarding old concepts, but by developing and subverting expectations of those concepts into something bigger and more complex. Yeah, that's at least what I just said. So what's the actual point? And yeah, here are at least 3 points that I think make sense to resolve Sarada's issue if using Hashirama's cells or some of the old methods aren't used anymore in this era. First, I think the most likely possibility is that Himawari's healing ability isn't just ordinary healing, because so far, every time Himawari uses her Biju chakra, the effects feel far more abnormal than normal healing in the shinobi world. Fatal wounds can be healed extremely quickly. Bleeding caused by Ohirume's overuse is even stopped immediately. And most interestingly, the effect seems to work directly on the source of the damage. Now, the key point is this. If the Mangekyo Sharingan gradually damages the user's eyes from within due to chakra pressure and excessive use of power, then it's not impossible that Himawari's Kurama chakra could eventually evolve into a natural solution to slow down, stabilize, or even regenerate that damage. And if this theory is correct, it would be something truly different from previous generations. Not an eye transplant, not stealing someone else's eyes, and not a classic method like the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Rather, a new solution born from the combination of Otsutsuki power, Biju chakra, and the new generation itself. And honestly, if Ikemoto really takes this route, then the relationship between Himawari and Sarada will likely become far more important to the story's future than we can imagine right now. And I know that even if not for now, Himawari's power and abilities will certainly continue to develop. And second, the craziest yet most intriguing possibility is that Sarada's blindness is actually intentionally made a crucial part of the story's destiny itself. I mean, what if losing her sight isn't the end of Sarada's power, but a prerequisite for awakening something far greater? Because Two Blue Vortex has consistently played with the concept of a price to be paid for gaining power or altering the future. Boruto Uzumaki lost his life, his friends, and everything that mattered to him. As a result, faced with that harsh reality, Boruto grew into a much better person and shinobi afterward. Not just better, but far better than he was before when he was still in Konoha. Yeah, you know what I mean, right? And it's not just about Boruto. Kawaki lost his humanity bit by bit and was willing to sacrifice anything as the worst possible consequence for his body, as long as he could protect Naruto and eliminate all existing threats. And as for Koji himself, he had to live with the burden of witnessing various timelines of destruction. Even if he kept learning more about that future, he was essentially destroying that future himself. I know the point about Koji might not be very relevant, but at least from a terrible sacrifice comes some kind of benefit afterward. And in other words, it's not impossible that Sarada will also be forced to go through her own lowest point. It's possible that when her vision is completely gone, that's precisely when her dojutsu reaches a perfect form that has never existed before in Uchiha history. And if this scenario is true, then Sarada's blindness isn't the end, but the beginning of the biggest plot twist in Two Blue Vortex. But what do you guys think? Fourth, honestly, for point 4, I'm just throwing this out there. But what if, in the end, Amado takes on a role in this situation? I know Amado might not have any personal stake or anything like that, but wouldn't that be interesting? Because just imagine, Amado is capable of creating cyborgs and conducting crazy experiments like trying to bring his long-dead daughter back to life. And maybe this sounds hard to believe, but if we evaluate or look at it from various perspectives and set aside the old methods, wouldn't this also be an interesting approach? The big question mark, though, is Amado's reason for doing that to Sarada, right? But out of those points, which one do you think makes the most sense? Or are you more optimistic that Ikemoto will stick with an old method, or is there another method you think makes more sense? Yeah, whatever your opinion is, let's discuss it in the comments. Thanks for watching, like, and subscribe. I'm Nim without the E. See you in the next spoiler. Bye-bye, Dadabayo.